Can you give us an example of in your scaling journey, any of them, because there have been many, of where you or someone on the team has pointed out that 800-pound gorilla, and it's been really hard?
I mean, probably the one that was the most difficult for me, two of them that were the most difficult for me. The first one was when I really sat down and looked at the 4 divisions of Au Bon Pain Co. Inc. in 1999 and realized that the gem of all 4 of those divisions was not the one I had started. Maybe I had built it and created it, but was Panera Bread. That was really hard to both recognize, and then to recognize the most powerful way to care for that was the sale of every other business and taking all of the capital and all the human resources and betting it on that. That was a really powerfully difficult challenge at that moment in time. And nobody is with you when you're going through it. I can remember during that year and a half when I was selling all these divisions, you could have bought my stock at that time. We were a public company for a penny on the dollar of what it ultimately sold for 20 odd years later. And people would say to me all the time, Ron, right? Why didn't you tell me about this? And I look at him and go, excuse me, but I really want to say, you asshole, I was telling you about it. You could have bought my stock by the wheelbarrow for a penny on the dollar, but nobody wanted to listen. The reality is that when you're going through it, there's no support. It's not until you're done and you've won that everybody says, oh, it's so obvious. When you're in the middle of it, the challenges are profound. Probably the most difficult one for me was when I came back to Panera around 2011 with that vision of revitalizing Panera around digital, around loyalty, around clean food, around omnichannel. And I put all that in place, and then I had to rebuild the organization to be a much larger scaled organization. Then I had to rebuild our ideology of how we compete around craveable wellness. And I was going through this massive transformation. And in any transformation, things get worse before they get better. And frankly, in any large organization, when you're transforming it, team members feel the pain, bonuses go down, everybody is challenging, everybody's blaming everybody else. All that happened during the transformation. And I can remember how much pain I felt because I knew we were doing the right thing. But as Vince Lombardi put it, he never lost the game, he just ran out of time. I didn't know when I would run out of time. And in the middle of this, I had activist investors attack me, trying to get me to not invest in that vision for long-term transformation. And I cannot tell you how difficult that was when you had all that burden on you. I'd get up in front of 5,000 or 10,000 people, and I'd tell them we're going this way. And as I was speaking, I'd hear myself talk, and I'd say to myself, Ron, are you full of baloney or not? Is this really going to work? And I can remember one moment I went out on Star Drive in Boston, and I was just feeling such a sense of responsibility, a responsibility to all these people that believed in me and that were following me. And I said to myself, it would just be easier if I got hit by a truck. And I'm not telling you it was a desire to commit suicide at all. It was a sense of responsibility that was so powerful, it sat on your shoulders. And it was that sense sitting on my shoulders that's really the burden of transformation and change and leadership. And I know in retrospect, and I speak to people about it all the time, you've got to be prepared for that and ready for it. It's really part of what you're going through.